Hi, my name is Sahar Mustafah, and I'm the author of The Beauty of Your Face, which was released this past April. So I am among several pandemic debuts this year. And I'm just so happy to join you on the part of Inside for Indies, this really terrific effort to raise awareness and funds for our independent bookstores who have really taken a hit during this incredibly uncertain time. So I'm really excited and heartened to be here, and I really appreciate you giving me some time and space as I invite you into my space here. So, this is the loft where I do my writing, and I am someone who works. Mostly in the morning, in fact, very early, especially during the school year. I teach full time, so I'm up at 4:30 during the school year. I'm very disciplined. I'm a pretty consistent and fast writer, and I absolutely enjoy it. So I've been cultivating this other life for probably the last 20 years. Have a short story collection and then my debut novel. So this loft is snug, it's comfy. There is one window which I need no matter where I write. So in the different residences, I always have to be near a source of natural light. And it just allows me those mental breaks. I like to peer out the window, especially during the autumn, the winter. Those are just really, beautiful and stunning times with the first snowfall and snow that just really starkly and poignantly clings to the bare branches. And I love the turning of the leaves. So I have a wonderful single red maple tree outside my window. And it's been pretty productive here. I'm also surrounded by books, although they are not all confined to this bookshelf. In fact, books are spilling in different corners of this room. A testament to my love of books. I also am surrounded by Arab American art. So right behind me, I've got a few displays. I actually have Mahmoud Darwish's collection of poetry that's in the Arabic language. I picked that up when I was in Palestine, my parents' homeland. And I think I feel so comfortable in this space because, in addition to the art that inspires me, I'm also surrounded by little trinkets that have been given to me. So I've received a lot of fun and clever and comical mugs. I've been given bookmarks. I have been given writing utensils and journals. So I am just surrounded by a wonderful community of friends and family who are also supporting my work as a writer, including one of my favorite things from my wonderful coworker, Annie Calderon. It's a coffee warmer. So she felt it quite necessary that I always be well caffeinated and that coffee mug stays hot. She must know that sometimes you get so immersed in your writing that you don't look up, for some time. So at least that way, I would not have a cold cup of coffee each time I went to take a sip. I wanted to talk just a little bit about my process, how I come to produce, stories, manuscripts. I am, as many writers are, really bound by journals. And journals help me to sketch my ideas. I know some writers will do longhand versions of their manuscripts. I do not, but this is a place where I organize, I brainstorm, I do my plot outlines, I collect research, and for each new project, I have a new journal. So I have several of those as I delve into novel writing. I started in writing short stories, and so that's been, kind of an artistic shift for me. And I realized very quickly that I would have to stay organized, and having individual journals really helps that. But it also feeds into my love of stationery. So I really love journals. I love pens. Anything, that goes into, handwriting and organizing. So I'm a big Post-it note person too. When I complete early drafts, I will print my work just so I can get away from the screen and I could see the manuscript in a different kind of format. I mean, obviously, it's still the typed manuscript, but I organize in binders, and you can see my Post-it notes there. And what I do is sort of a hand critique and line editing there. I will do recordings of me reading certain sections, certain chapters, and I found that it is incredibly useful to record and play back because there are just going to be things that I miss on the screen, and even when I actually print out the manuscript. So that's always a big tip that I share with aspiring writers, and essentially listen to yourself quite literally, and you're going to discover some really interesting things that might not land, things that might feel like rambling, that kind of thing. So that's basically, my writing, process and my writing space. I'm grateful because I'm also an empty nester, so I don't have too many distractions. The pandemic has not really disrupted my life in any major ways beyond the very social, connections with other people. But I have to say that I have been writing still steadily. I have not given in to, the guilt of having maybe a little more time. I always work at my own pace. And sometimes I will give, writing projects a break, especially when I'm feeling my creative energy diminish a little. What I'd love to end with is reading an excerpt from a book of short stories that I'm reading now. So I would love to plug Alligator and Other Stories by Dima El Zayat. She is a Syrian American writer who is currently living in the UK. So she was born in Damascus, Syria, grew up in San Jose, California, and now lives in Manchester, UK. I was just so excited about the release of this book, and I have not been disappointed. Many wonderful accolades. I think what is so wonderful and appropriate too is that it was published by $2 Radio, which is also an independent bookstore. So they are a publishing house, an independent publishing house, but they also have a brick and mortar bookstore, which I hope I'll be able to visit as soon as our restrictions are lifted. So that again is a nod to the absolutely invaluable existence of independent bookstores. I want to say also before I get into this short story, places like the Bookseller have always given me a space, not only as a writer, but also as an editor of a since shuttered online magazine. The Bookseller would actually host readings for our contributors. And so in addition to celebrating the works of others, I've been there for many book launches. I've also, been given this space to share my own work, and I'm just so grateful. So the Bookseller is a Chicago literary staple, along with Women and Children First, who have hosted me also in different capacities and have hosted writers that I love. And they also hosted my first book launch of my short story collection, and will be doing a virtual launch of this novel that we had to postpone because of the pandemic. So once again, please support independent bookstores. I think a city, can be described and affirmed richly by its cultural institutions. And Chicago has an amazing literary community, and that includes the backbone, which are the independent bookstores. So back to Alligator and Other Stories by Dima Al-Zayat. I have been moving now for 5 years. At times, I stayed in places long enough to memorize where the shadows fell at dawn, to learn which birds sang in the trees, but eventually I left. For 3 months, I dug foundations and mixed concrete in one place. For a full year, I planted seedlings and watered the plants that grew from them. I learned to weave chairs from bamboo, to build protective barriers around turtle nests and runways so the hatchlings could find their way to the ocean without getting lost. In all this time, I have not gone home. On the phone, my mother's voice has grown colder. My father no longer asks when I will come back. Only my Aunt Zainab laughs at the sound of my voice. When her third and final husband died, Zainab refused to mourn. My grandmother, older and widowed by then, did not interfere. Even when Zainab was seen laughing in public, wearing yellow and violet, her hair newly bleached and permed, my grandmother shook her open palms at those who spoke. Enough, she said. Words have a taste, just like food. And I'll leave you there. That was Alligator and Other Stories by Dima El-Zayat. And a final shout out for our wonderful booksellers in Chicago. Thank you, Inside for Indies, for giving me this space. And I hope I've inspired you to support our independent bookstores in Chicagoland. Stay safe and well. Take care.